Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to our summit here today. I'm so glad to be able to present today systems and processes for time-strapped CEOs to be able to gain back some time and have some visibility strategies to really help them to maximize their time when it comes time to leadership and visibility. So our first guest today is Leon Fludd. Leon is with us live. He's got some really cool things happening in his background there. Leon helps us better on screen and be able to get more time. So, Leon, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
First, thank you all for having me. That's number one. And just a small little thing, it's lion like the animal, like rawr. Yes. And so I sincerely appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and start my Clizzy clock, as I love to say it. One of the major things, I'm gonna give you a little quick background about myself, is I enjoy fun. If it's not fun, to me, it's not worth doing. And I believe that when you're having fun, number one, it comes across the screen, most importantly, in this virtual
Mm.
space. So anyone who's looking and wondering why or how can I elevate my virtual space to get more visibility, I want to say be natural, have fun, enjoy yourself, right? People see that, they can read right through it. So I tell everyone to make sure you smile and have fun. A little quick background about myself. I'm an alum of Full Sail University, which is in Orlando, Florida, arts and graduate degree. Went out to Hollywood and worked inside the movie field. I'm one of those people that you see the movies and the special graphics and all that stuff that come on screen. But we don't get our faces in front of everyone else like that, right? One of my associates, one of my business partners, some of you guys should know, is Spidey. You should see Spidey. That's one of my guys. Say hi, Spidey. Say hi to
Hi,
everyone.
Spidey. Hi, Spidey.
Yeah. So, and I'm a person who simply makes you look, sound, and perform better in a virtual space. I.e., some of the things that you're going to see today are some of the advanced stuff that I show. And today I'm just going to show you some simple stuff that's going to help you elevate and separate yourself from competitors, anyone else who may be doing something similar to what you're doing. One of them you see right now, right, with my name here, my company's name, and then my academy. That's created simply inside of ChatGPT, right? But one of the differences that you will notice is as I move, I don't have that blur effect sometimes when you see someone else who's using a virtual background. My preference, though, I tell people use your regular background if you're able to. But if you need to use a virtual background, it needs to look professional. It needs to make you seem like you're professional. You need to be able to hold up a product, for an example. Here's one of our mugs, and people are able to see it, right? It doesn't blur and it doesn't distort as you're holding it up if you're going to be doing something like that, right? I know a lot of authors who want to hold up their books and then all of a sudden it starts disappearing, right? This is a client of mine who I worked with, but here's one of the small differences, and I'm gonna come back to that. So, this is what we see normally, right? We see someone hold up a book like this, and it's great that they get to hold it up, they get to show it, they got to move it around. But what if you could advance that as well? And once again, we're not going there, but I'm going to show you an example of how that looks. Now, she would be able to give her presentation with her book on the side of her constantly as she's speaking about it. So it burns a little bit more memory into her attendees, right? They get to see her book constantly and she gets to still show it. So that's another small example of some of the things when we're talking about visibility. Why? Because we know people's attention spans are very short now, right? They say that the average attention span is shorter than a goldfish, if I'm not mistaken. People say that our attention spans are very short. So we always have to get them with all these little stuff. So today I am going to show you something that you can do directly inside of Zoom using Zoom's native apps. There's no cost to this. This is one of their free apps that you get to do. Of course, there's some things inside. If you want to purchase, you can, but it's absolutely free. And I am not an affiliate for this app, so I have nothing into it. I just love showing people so they can see how that looks. Um, if you have some questions, please interrupt me. I love it. I want to answer your questions. Stop me. I ask that you do it in one small little way. I want you to put a Q with a colon and then your question inside of the chat. What that does, it allows my system to separate questions and comments. So I don't have to scroll and find a question. I get questions on the left, I get comments on the right, right? So put a Q, a colon, and then your question if you have one. So let's get ready to get started, and I'm going to show you. You can follow along with me. I absolutely love that people follow along with me because then I can see what on their screen when it starts happening. So please follow along with me if you have it. Show us how you did this. So I am going to show you how I do that. I appreciate that. First, let me tell you this really quick. Myself, wrong one. Went to a different one there. So I am, let me go back to this one here. There we go. There we go. Me, I'm a virtual branding expert. What that simply means is I make you sound, look, and perform better on camera. And I'm going to show you a few ways of those right there. I created this system that I like to call, instead of a webinar, because that's what most people do, right? They host a webinar. And I'm like, that's cool. I like that. But I created a vibinar, right? When you come in, I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to have fun. I want your attendees and everyone to look at you. When you go into a meeting, I want people to look at you like, whoa, that virtual space looks professional, right? It looks engaging. So I'm going to show you a few of those, right? So inside of Zoom, we're going to go to an app, and it's going to be called SPX. Don't worry if you don't know how to get there. I'm about to show you exactly how to do that. The very first thing I want you to do is take a look at the bottom of your Zoom. You should see a little thing that's called apps. You see it inside the yellow there. If you don't see it, check your more section. Okay, you'll be able to see that. So let's see, we have, and matter of fact, thank you for doing that, because I'm going to show you a really cool thing also with this right here. We have a question coming in from Carol, and I'm going to show you something really cool here. So Carol says, how intimidated are people when it comes to showing up authentically for themselves? Very. I find people who will get petrified. It's like they freeze and they can't even think of the next word that comes out. So I see it often. People do get intimidated like that often. So once you get that apps section up on your screen, oh, look at that. She has it already. Look at that. SPX. I love it. So once you get it, what I'm going to show you is you're going to look for a app called SPX Graphics for Zoom, right? So all you have to do is type in there. If you don't see how to do it, at the top of that screen, you see something that says My Apps, and then also Add Apps. Click on Add Apps, just like if you're searching inside your phone, and then just type in SPX Graphics for Zoom. Animated lower thirds, overlay graphics, etc. Probably 90% of everything inside there is free or low cost, but I'll show you some of that as well. What I'm going to show you immediately is how to do this, how to add your name, your company's name, and whatever else you want to place inside there, right? So it'll show up on your Zoom screen. Zoom gives you a little tiny little name that you get to put there. I want your name to be big, to be bold, because when you walk into a corporate office, what do you see on their desk, right? You see their nameplate. You see the name that says what their title is, right? To let you know what their title is. So here's how we're going to get to that. Once you open up SPX, and please, if I go too fast, slow me down. I love it. In the little first box you're going to see is this gray box. All you have to do is put your name, whatever title you have in there, and your company, and then hit save. It will automatically come up on screen. Now you can toggle it on and off, of course, right? Maybe some meetings you don't want it on, at some portions of your meetings you don't want it on. But I want people to be able to see your name, your company's name. And then there's something else really cool I'm going to show you as well as we're doing that. So I'm going to just take a little quick second and let everyone else grab it and see if they can get it. All right, we got Dr. Charlotte. She's got it. Look at that. That's such a big win. Ooh, look at the confetti. If you can't have fun with confetti, I don't know what's going on, right? So now,
I have a
once you
question, Lion. I have a
sure go
question.
for it,
So
go for it.
I'm looking at Karis and I'm looking at Dr. Charlotte. I'm not seeing I see your name change, but I'm not seeing their name
Mhm.
change.
They probably haven't put it up yet.
Oh,
If
okay.
that's the case, because as soon as you do it, it will come up automatically, or rather, you might have to toggle on a little green switch that's right underneath it, um, just in case. I don't directly use SPX because I've used the advanced stuff now, but this is more of just a getting you started. So I don't recall if the switch is automatically toggled off. But if either one of you have the ability to go ahead and put your name up. I would love it. So we can all take a screenshot as well and brag about that. But once you do it, your name should automatically come up. All right. And when you get that, you will get something that looks like this right here. Like Emily, right? Look at that smile on Emily's face, right? She finally figured it out. There goes Dr. Charlotte. Look at that. She's got it. Yes. You do have the ability to change colors, fonts, and all of that as well. That might be a different feature inside there, but that's the basics, right? So now, when I get to look at Dr. Charlotte's screen, I get to see what she does, right? It shows up when she comes into that meeting, and then I get to look at that and I'll see all of the stuff that she does. Okay. So, does anyone else have theirs right now, maybe having a little issue? Welcome in, Leah, joining us. We appreciate that. We're going to give you a big round of applause. Woo! Leah's in the house. All right. So, but we can see now that Emily is a transformation coach and a founder of True Voice. It's on the side, so you can't see that. But I'll take a second here just to see if anyone else has theirs coming up. Leah, if you don't have it yet, what we did is we just went into Zoom apps and we downloaded something called SPX Graphics for Zoom. So you can be able to put that on side there. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to show you is also another screenshot of Latoya. She has hers and she put the dollar signs for her S's, right? But you can see hers is like a teal. We know she's a business strategist, business coach, artist acquisitions, Inc. Right? So that's some of the things that gives you the ability to do. All right, she just changed her color. I see that. Dr. Charlotte changed her color. The next thing I'm going to show you inside of SPX, everything's inside there, is how to use what's called a headline. Headlines I love using to make an announcement, right? And I'm going to show you an example here in just a second. But maybe you have a project that's opening up in the next quarter. Maybe you're going to be inviting someone. Okay, all right. She has hers too in teal. I love it. You're going to be inviting someone to join in your cohort at a next quarter or whatever time frame. I use the headlines every 10 minutes. I'll bring it up. Maybe I'll mention it, right? So all you have to do in your headlines, and I just put this is where you would put it at. It's going to look like this once it comes up on your screen. Again, that's the bottom of my Zoom, and I'll show you an actual example of that. This is where you can put your headline, and it will show up on your screen like that. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Nikki's headline here for 1 second. So Nikki's headline, we see that she's a speaker coach, right? She works for Joy Inspired LLC, and she put her headline, her Jump membership is now going to start enrolling in the fourth quarter, right? So again, use it at your discretion, use it when you want to, but now I'm hosting a meeting, I'm maybe hosting a coaching session, and I say at midnight tomorrow, the application is going to open up, everyone can join, right? Or something. That headline will now come up on screen. And again, it makes you look a little bit more professional. And what it also does is it gives your employees, your attendees, anything in the meeting, the opportunity to take a screenshot or write it down, right? You can control the speed of which they see it. So you can leave it on screen. You're not just saying, hey, this is going to open up on August the 19th at 8 p.m., right? Okay, look at Kat. I love when people just start going ahead. Hold on, let me give you some applause too, because I see that, right? Yes, you're figuring it out. And again, I told you this is, for the most part, everything is very self-explanatory and simple, but I still love walking it through a pace that some people will be able to get as well. Now, I am going to show you something that is probably going to be so dramatic that you're going to look at this and be like, no way, that's not possible. So we see Nikki's headline, right? And we see all of that, and we see her background behind me. I want to show you a before Nikki's work with us, and then an after. So what you're about to see right now is the before picture of her up in that corner, right? Look at one, her name was small. Her background was just, just a background, right? And I said, no problem. Let's get this fixed for you. She started to work with us, and then you guys can see the before and then the after. And let me give you a really great hint as well, something for visibility that I want to show you. That background that you see with Nikki, it is not real. It is not a virtual background either. It is a backdrop that I tell my clients to use, $20, $25 off of Amazon. It's a photographer's backdrop, right? If someone's scared to show their background or whatever, I tell them, get up against a white wall, take 2 thumbtacks and put it up on side of the wall. And I will even give you another example of that. Let me
I have a
find.
girlfriend that had a brick one. When you watched her on her podcast, you would never know it wasn't a brick wall. And I walked into the
Yeah.
studio and I went, that's a curtain?
Yes, yes. And it builds confidence, right? Because now you're not worried about where your backdrop looks and so forth like that. So all of those things matter. And I tell all my clients, if you don't, you're not satisfied with what's going on behind you, oh, the kitchen, whatever, take some curtains and put it right on there. Right? It makes
Mhm.
it so much simple and so much easier and more professional for the people who are going to be watching your show or talking with you. Even if you go into a presentation to present or pitch a product or service to another company, you feel stronger within that. So I also want to show you another kind of before and then after as well of a client. This is Janie. You can see just her background, everything behind her, right? Nothing that's going to be too embarrassing or anything like that. But we wanted to step it up a little bit. And then this is, oh, let me turn off Nikki's one. And that was the before for Jamie. And then now we see the after, right? And here she
Wow.
is inside of a Zoom room, right? Where it has that kind of backdrop that makes it look blurred a little bit. You would never tell that this is not a real or a virtual or a non-real background, right? But
Mhm.
it gives the difference of, even you could kind of see in the way she's sitting and just talking, right? So those little things help increase your visibility. It helps increase it because people want to feel like you could take them to where they want to go, right? And it's hard sometimes if you're in a space that's not conducive to that. Right? So I call it almost like the unicorn pattern of the virtual events, right? It's the mythological. Oh, is that a unicorn behind me? Would you look at
And you
that?
have the sounds too.
Yes. So all I love having fun. I don't know if you guys know this, but if it's not fun, again, to me, I don't want to do it. So let's talk logos. Now this is a paid portion of SPX where you can place your logo on the screen. And again, and I'll get to that in a second. But if you use SPX, I think it's a $9 a month for the entire thing, paid and everything else. But they do have a la carte. Some people can pay 99 cents or $2 a month if you want your logo. But you're able to do the logo. One of the things you saw a second ago as well was the Be Right Back screen that we saw was put up. So what if you're running an event and you want to step off screen for a second, or you want someone to work on your workbooks and you want to give them some time to work on it? Well, this is kind of one of the things that you can use for it. Or if you just need to step away. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like right here. So now when that comes up, and you won't be in front like I am. Again, I'm just doing that for the training. But be right back. 3 minutes to work on your workbook. Right. So now people at least know what the directive of what's happening and what's
Mhm.
going on. And as you stated a second ago, you can even add in some music. Let me do a little something here for a second. you can add in some music to just give a little bit more like fun and within your event and so forth. But that's just one way of using that. Again, you can use it for whatever you want. Hey, be right back. Got to take care of something. But it gives you the ability again to look professional. And when you put this on in Zoom, you'll be off screen, of course. They won't be able to see what's happening. Again, inside of SPX. Now I want to
With
show you
that,
one. Go
with
for it.
that be right back, do you set the timer and the timer can count down?
It does.
Amazing.
Yes. You can set the timer for however long you want. Well, I think they have a specific amount, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Again, I haven't used it in a long time. But yes, you can set the time to say you have 3 minutes to work on your workbook. Hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Breakout rooms are coming up in 6 minutes, so people understand and know. Hey, go grab you a drink. Be back in whatever time frame. So yes, and I'm also going to show you how to set a timer inside of Zoom here shortly, which is great for speakers, which is great if you have someone that's giving an intro for themselves, right? So they know, hey, you got 2 minutes to go over your timer. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a second. Another great thing about that is you have these functions inside there where you can tell someone you are muted, right? It has emojis that pops up. And you can see Darren's face when I placed that onto the screen, right? It brought a little smile to his face. He's smiling and smirking a little bit. So instead of telling your attendees or telling your guests, hey, you're on mute, right? You can have something pop up on the screen that can alert them that you're on mute. Again, I love doing mine a little different. This is my you're on mute. Whenever someone's on mute, I would do something like this. And I was like, hey, you're on mute. You're on mute, right? So you can use that to whichever way you like. But they do have different emojis. These are some of the advanced ones that I'm showing you. Like when I get my nerd on, I love using some stuff like that. Maybe someone gives a insight that was humorous, right? I could bring on some of these things like that. And again, this is all about having a different look when you're presenting, right? When people are having fun in your event, in your meetings or whatever, they are more apt to go tell other people, to want to come
Right.
back, to say, "Ooh, I learned something new." So there's another one that you can use inside of SPX. Okay, so let's get back to the next one. The SPX cost, again, you could do some of these at a la carte, 95 cents, $2.50. I'll show you guys some of the image carousels, animated emojis. But if you do the whole thing, I think it's $9. Again, I have no affiliation with the Zoom part of this, just love showing it. The agenda, I love that
Hey
because if
Lion,
I'm doing them,
it's $11 a month right now, just so you have
it's
it. You want to be
11.
you want to be up
Oh,
to date. You want to be up to date on your presentation.
oh my god! See, like that's how shows you how long it's been since I've actually used them. All right, thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. 11 now. Okay, so it's $11 a month if someone chooses to use that, or I just truly say, hey, you can use the free stuff, and if you see one or two things in there that you want, maybe get it. The
But when
agenda.
it comes down to visibility, these tools are amazing. And here's the thing that they're all at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're right inside of a platform that you're more than likely going to use most of the time. Most people use
Mhm.
Zoom for the most part. So it's not even like a third party app that you have to go out of, right? If you're hosting a meeting, it's already inside your Zoom. You just open it up and it's right there. Now, agendas, it is exactly what it says. It's I love to let my attendees, my viewers know what's going on in the meeting. So that way they know, hey, if I need to step out and come back at 25 after, I know the part that I'm going to be coming in on. And SPX allows you to do stuff like that as well. Again, I'm going to show you an example of it, but keep in mind what I'm showing you is a little bit more advanced, but I love doing stuff like this. So before our meeting starts, I will always say, hey, so here goes the agenda of what we're going to be going over today. Bam, right? And so now I'm here and say, so today we're going to start off with music. That's the little yellow part. Next, we're going to go for gamification. The third one today, I'm going to teach you how to include everyone into our sessions, right? So those are like the agendas. It gives, again, that professional feeling and look. But please keep in mind, this is not something that absolutely has to be done. This is just something that I love to share with people so they understand and say, hey, this is something I can kind of go towards. Okay. So let's get back to that portion. Agendas, again, you can use for anything. Animated emojis, meeting callouts. You saw that's free. That's the one where you could do you're on mute. You can, I think, you can customize some of them. Just double check. Image carousel is a great tool to use inside of Zoom, well, with SPX, because if you need to show a few items, maybe you want to show slides, maybe you want to show books or something like that, you have the ability to look different. And I'll show you, matter of fact, let me show you just a totally different view on that. Because most of you, when you see a Zoom, oops, wrong one here, Zoom different. Oh, that was the client. Okay, let me go up here. All right, so when you see Zoom, most of the time, you see a slide, right? And someone brings a slide on.
Mhm.
I usually say in a meeting, the death of a presentation is the minute someone says, one moment, let me share my slides. It means that you're simply going to read, and studies have shown that most people mentally check out because they know that's all that's about to happen. And I jokingly say a lot of times, I said, this could have just been an email. You could have just sent this with the PDF files. We see a Zoom slide that looks similar to this, right? You're stuck up inside the corner and words are written on the screen and then you're reading them. Well, imagine if you could take that same sentence and say, well, if we ask you to think about the next 5 years or to write it, draw it down, how would it make you feel? Well, imagine if you could do that now in a similar way like this, right? And now you can talk about the personal journey because that slide just became an abstract drawing. Hey, what's your target for the next 5 years? Let's talk about your personal journeys, right? These are like little bullet points, but it still keeps you frame of mind, right? And it keeps your slide, if you will, or your information on screen like this. Again, presentation makes people look a little bit different. How about now making it kind of see-through, transparent, right? You can use it against a black background or whatever to make it a little bit different. Similarly, if you were to do something like this and say, when do you think about saving? What do you picture? Yeah, we could use a mattress and a piggy bank and a shoebox, but what if we were able to now do something like this, where now we could take that same type of thing and put it on screen and say, let's talk about the pros and cons of traditional savings or having what you want to do. And I'm using a simple tool that you can use on your Zoom as well to be able to bring something like this on screen. Or if I wanted
Is
to again, sorry,
is
go
this
ahead.
the same tool that you used to bring the book up?
No, that one's a little bit different. That's a little bit advanced one, but it's similar inside of that technique where I'm just pressing a button to bring it up. It's not complicated, is what I love to tell people. As one of my favorite quotes that comes on the screen here that says, if it works, simply do more of it, right? Don't overcomplicate it, right? But now I took that same Zoom slide or same slide rather, and I made it kind of like a just a different feel, right? A different type of look and so forth like that. So those are some of the ways that you're able to do it. Let's check the time. Oh, still got a little bit more time. I love it. So let me see if I could do this. I changed up a couple of things. Let's see if I could do this. That is let's see. Come on, do it right. Nope, wrong one, wrong one. Let's see if I can do it again. Let's see. All right, so here's Katie. Katie and I worked on an event a while ago, and she did a pop-up event, which I was hosting. And in that event, 120 leads, generated over $1,000 and took a little bit less than 4 weeks from start to finish. And why is that? Because when we worked together, it was a webinar feel, right? It made it different. So people were engaged when they first came in. We did karaoke, we did gamification, scavenger hunts. And then one of my favorites that I love doing, and then I'll get right back into this, is I love doing virtual bingo. Whereas we show an album cover and then someone has a few seconds to guess. I'll do a trivia time thing like this right here. And then they have to guess the band. And then if they don't get it, we'll bring up some music or something like that. But again, it's keeping people involved and having fun. What you're seeing there are some different tools, advanced, but again, I just still love showing it just in case someone down the line says, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about that type of stuff. All right. So back to the training 10-20-30 rule. Robert Kiyosaki stated this, and I subscribe to it wholeheartedly. If you're doing a presentation, if you're doing a meeting, if you're doing something, use 10 slides or less. People are burnt out over slides. And I know some people say, well, my slides need to get 45. Maybe figure a different way, do 2 ones. It's a suggestion. Every rule is meant to be broken or adjusted, but here's just some suggestions. Keep it to around about 20 minutes unless you are engaging, right? People are engaged inside of that presentation. And then use 30-point fonts. You do not want someone having to squint to read your stuff, right? 10-20-30 rule. And then about the last 5 minutes, I'm going to show you something really, really interesting that you can do. And I'm also going to give away a link to it, whereas it's a free tool that you can use as well. So as I stated a little bit earlier, I love the webinar feel, right? Because the webinar is about a different type of kind of vibe, if you will, in any other way. When you normally come into a meeting, it's usually just kind of like hey, we're just here for business. Where people still in a virtual space, it's a little bit harder to connect, right? A little bit harder to connect. So one of the tools that I show people to use for connection, and this is a tip that I think is going to work really great for you. Where did my paper go? I just had it here. So I'll show it to you and then I'll bring it up here in just a second as well. So when you're looking, matter of fact, let me show you first before I bring it up. When you're doing a presentation, visibility, you want people to trust you. You're about to ask them to join your group. You want to ask for money, whatever it is. Here's what 98% of the people do when they're in a meeting. So right now I'm looking and I see Dr. Charlotte's face and I'm talking to Dr. Charlotte. I'm talking to Karis. Again, I want to make sure I get it right. Okay, Karis. I'm talking to Karis. I'm talking to Carol, and I'm telling you all about what I'm doing. But where does it look like I'm looking at when I'm talking to you? I'm looking down. My brain sees your face on my computer monitor. So I'm thinking, yes, I'm talking to you. But to you, it looks like, why isn't he paying me attention? He wants me to join something. He cares about me or she cares about me. Why? So what we need to do is bring our eyes up to that small web camera or that DSLR camera and train our brain to not look down. But there's a tool that helps you with that. Because now as I'm talking to you, it means that I'm into you. I'm listening to you, right? So if that's something that's difficult to you, here's a tool that I was going to suggest. I am an affiliate of this tool, right? So if you want to look in something like this, let me know. It's called eye contact camera. And what happens is that camera flips down into front of your monitor like that. So now as you're looking at the person's face, you're looking directly into the webcam, right? So then they feel like, oh, you don't, your brain, you don't have to think, you don't have to look someplace else. You've been eyeing one of those, no pun intended. Well, use my affiliate link if you maybe want to check one out. But it does make a big difference. And let me show you an example of that. So I'm going to actually show you one of these here. This is what I used to show my clients to do, is take a Post-it note and put look here right at your camera, right? Where did that paper go? Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. So now it kind of forces your brain to say, look here, right? So instead of doing that, now what I did is, let me come back here for 1 second to show you. What I teach some people to do is to take a index card, and I just roughly did this. Cut a hole inside that index card. Now you could place it over, let me do it like this. You could place it over your webcam or over the camera that you're about to look into. Okay. And what I have here is these dots. These are talking points. Right. So now I don't have to look and then look down to see my talking point. Right. I can take this and put it right over my camera. So as I'm looking into that webcam, I'm seeing my talking points, right? Little things right there. And I could just kind of peripheral vision and look at it. It looks like I'm still looking directly at you, and I'm seeing the next talking point where I need to go, and so forth, like that, right there, right? So let me show you one of these here really quick in action. Let me go back to that screen, and I want to show you just a really quick thing of how that looks when I go back there. So let me get back right here. Okay, perfect. So take a look here at this here.
With traditional webcams, if it appears I'm looking at you, I'm actually not. I'm looking at a tiny camera. I can barely even see you in my peripheral vision. If I actually look at you on screen, it looks like I'm looking down and not really paying any attention at all. With most communication being nonverbal, not seeing eye to eye is a huge problem. Now, you can easily fix that with the new eye contact web camera. Just plug it in, drop it on, and line up the camera. Now you're finally making eye contact with the person on screen.
Woo, finally making eye contact with the person on the screen. That gave me chills there for a second, right? So, but there's many more out there. Just research, see which one works best for you. I'm an affiliate of them. If you go with it, I put the link in there. You can check it out. But it majorly makes a big difference. Recently, I was doing a training, and I did not know it at the time, but I had a 6-time Emmy Award winner producer in my training. And they asked me about it. They got the camera and they're using it now, wrote a review about it, and they rave about it. But an Emmy producer inside the training, right? We know how hard it is to get those production things there, okay? So I'm going to, we got about, where's my clock at? A few more minutes. Okay, about
Yeah,
10 more minutes.
actually, Lion, we're a little bit over.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
fantastic. But I've put some links in the chat. I'm sorry about the reverb for those of you that are hearing. So Lion has offered one of those free backgrounds. If you participate in the VIP package, I've put the link for the VIP package in the chat. And of course, Lion has his affiliate link for the iCamera also in the chat. So, Lion, this has been amazing. I've got half a page of notes. I wish I had talked to you before this presentation. We could have made it much more, much more animated. I'm truly grateful for you being here. Thank you, Lion.
Very cool.
Thank you so much for attending here today.